Hi, Gerard. So I'm happy to answer your question for homework in thinking through change. So I guess first I thought of a definition because that's kind of just how I think. So to describe change, change would be any kind of difference we have that affects something that we have accepted as a norm in our life. So that can go from any number of things, but it's a difference that affects a norm in our life, conscious or unconscious.
So when I begin to look at what the word change means, to me, it means something new that is about to happen that is unknown to
I
me.
hear the word change. My initial thought is mass incarceration. Here in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. But unless you have the correct finances, you are sitting in jail until you go to court. On the other side of things, those who are presumed guilty, those who cannot conform and cooperate with societal laws that are given to them, are all put into one pod with other people who are presumed guilty. And they are expected to rehabilitate into society, into change. But in all actuality, what change could possibly take place? The only thing that's changing in there is their criminal intellect, is their criminal network. So when I hear the word change, I think of mass incarceration.
I think change can have a wide variety of meanings depending on what you apply it to. So, for humans, you can change things about your body, like physically. You can change, you can change your weight. You can change what you eat. You can change your hairstyle. You can change what you wear. But then there are also things about yourself that you can't change. So you can't change like your ethnicity, your height, your background, what family you were born into, or where you were born. Um, there are just some things that are just set before you're born, but also after you're born that just cannot change, and that will affect your life either positively or negatively, depending on how, it doesn't matter how much you try and actually change. There are some things you just can't change. There is always going to be a set status quo, as it were, of things that are, and it can't change. However, but that, in my opinion, is way less than the things that you can ultimately change, because humans have the ability to choose and the ability to act upon certain things that gives them the ability to change not only things physically and mentally, but also economically, and they can change the system of way things are done. And so, but then that also depends on who's willing to change.
What do I think of when I think of the word change? Well, for most people, the word change probably makes them very anxious. Nobody wants to change. And in fact, most people worry about how that's going to impact their day-to-day routines and things that they're very comfortable with. For me personally, the word change is exciting to me. I come from an industry where change is pretty common, and I've had a lot of success in my industry by being an early adopter to the change. Whereas most people will fight the change, when I jump on the new change, I'm usually ahead of the curve. Additionally, one of the other nice things about change is that it levels the playing field from old associates who have been in their roles for a long time and newer employees who have just maybe joined the organization, or even younger people and older people. When change happens, it's the people who can adopt and who are willing to adopt first that are going to be more successful and get through that change quickly.
Thanks for Gerard. Responding to that word change, I think a lot of people think that it is a scary word, that it means that they're being threatened by something else. But when I think of the word change, I think of the word growth, which isn't always quantifiable or always a way that we can know whether it's succeeding or failing. But with change, I think of growth.
Change, different, new, transform. Those those are the words that I think of that comes to mind when hearing the word change. I believe change is good, and I believe it's needed.
When I hear the word change, I think of innovation, new technology, or just things becoming better. Change to me is a positive thing. The first reaction I get to change is happiness. At the same time, as a Christian, when I think of change, I think that things are not really changing because of that old saying.
Why did I react as I did to the word? Basically because life is full of changes. I went through a lot of changes last year, and they were all really scary. And something that last year taught me, 2019, is that it is unstoppable. And in that inevitability, it's like a release of control.
When change happens, it's the people who can adopt and who are willing to adopt first that are going to be more successful and get through that
It's
change.
unknown to me. My thoughts on hearing this word is that I'm either going to enjoy the change or I need to begin to embrace myself because this change might make me very uncomfortable, right? I
think it's, for such a small word, it has a vast meaning and should not be taken lightly.
I react in this way, just trying to understand even the organization, the church that I am a part of, and what it takes to make a change and the process, which sometimes seems slow, what it takes to actually affect a change and where it comes from. In a church, we always talk about how Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and but also His mercies are new every morning. So a church should embrace change if they are organizing themselves well and moving forward towards a goal that has been agreed upon by many people. Alrighty, thanks.
Things are not really changing because of that old saying, there is nothing new under the sun, says the Lord. So at the same time, when I think of change, I think of history. I think of history repeating itself.
But I think a lot of times initially it feels kind of bad.
It's God, right? But I've gone through seasons of change that were very uncomfortable for me. So overall, when I think of change, this is what comes.
Network. So when I hear the word change, I think of mass incarceration. And the reason why my initial thought is mass incarceration is coming from me personally, who is someone who's been in prison for 4 years of my life. And nothing has changed for me in there. It's probably made me a better criminal.
Daddy has some questions for you, okay? Can you answer the question? What does the word change mean? What does change mean?
Listen.
It means listen. Okay, okay. What do you think about this word, change?
Listen the first time.
Okay, okay. And why did you react like this, Lincoln? Why do you think that?
Because I do.
Is that it? Okay. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. First of all, thank you to all my subjects who were able to make this possible, from the 3-year-old to the not-so-3-year-olds who are much older. I really appreciate your time. Wow, reading through and looking through everything that you guys had said, I think that there are some strong reactions to that word change. The initial reaction to that word change is just that something is going to happen, that there's something coming. And one of the subjects said that it could be good or it could be bad. It's just something, that it could be a positive thing or it could be something you brace yourself for. Another thing that I really noticed in the reactions to change were it really just depended on people's personalities, how they reacted to it. Some people decided to react in such a way where they would really worry about it, and it would get into their head. But other people said they embraced the change and that they learned about the change. And if they could learn about the change and put their hands on the change, then they could deal with the change, which is great. And then, of course, the why I reacted this way all depended on just the experiences of the individual people. One of the subjects who had been to prison reacted to change in a really adverse way because of his experiences in prison, which is completely understandable. And then you have my son Lincoln that really, he just ended it. It's from the mouth of babes, really. But when he was asked about what change is, he went automatically to behavior, which is actually what we should think about when we think of change. There's that old saying again that we can't change the things that are happening to us, but we can change the way we react to it, i.e. behavior. So maybe if we looked into that a little bit more, we'd be able to put our hands on change and understand it in a more effective way, almost. So this video project, the vlog project, has been a great project. And again, thank you to all my subjects. I appreciate your time and your efforts and your talent and your presence in my life too. Thanks so much.